Nigeria is rated 27th amongst countries in the world where female genital mutilation, also known as female circumcision, is practiced. Bassey in this report uncovers the myths behind this age-long practice described by many as a dark ages curse in the 21st century.
Female genital mutilation refers to the partial cutting or entirely removing the external female genitalia. This tradition, passed from one generation to another, has raised brows and set tongues wagging in disbelief.
The parts they cut, people believe if a woman has that part, it will make that woman promiscuous, and that's not true. Secondly, if the head of a baby hits that part at delivery, that part is called the clitoris, that the baby will die. It is also not true. The question is, why mutilate a woman?
Shockingly, recent evidence-based data from the World Health Organization indicates that 91.5 million girls and women above 9 years in Africa are currently living with the consequences of female genital mutilation. An estimated 3 million girls in Africa also risk undergoing female genital mutilation. It is said that he who wears the shoe knows where it pinches. Who else could tell the story of female genital mutilation than the woman who has gone through the process? 45-year-old Christy had her genital part cut by her mother at the early years of her life. She has 3 daughters, and out of ignorance also subjected her first daughter to the same practice just to fulfill cultural demands.
And the belief in my tradition then is that if a woman is not done, that she will be loosed. And they also believe that giving birth will be difficult. So it was done.
Christy is not alone. Lola here shares her own experience.
I was caught, my sisters were caught, my mom, my aunts, practically everybody, that I know were all caught. And I realized that it had no benefit to us because the whole idea is patriarchal. And it has a lot of side effects on the female. I went through 4 cesarean section. And people need to understand that these are harmful practices and it's against the woman's rights. There are laws against the practice of FGM. And if people do this and they are caught, they are either liable to pay a fine of 200,000 or to go to jail for 4 years.
There is a belief in some quarters that the practice of female genital mutilation is to reduce a woman's libido. But does this really work?
But we found out around, we've asked, we've done the research, we've asked people we've asked survivors. Survivors have been there to speak to people that, no, that is not, it does not have any benefits.
Especially as it's been done in some of the remote areas, villages, it's a terrible practice.
However, we met Regina Duru, who has been trained as a cutter since childhood to take over from her grandmother. Fortunately, she boldly decided that the practice must end in her generation.
Coming from a family of perpetrators, when we say perpetrators, we mean people who actually do the cutting. If you come to the family of the cutters, there's this air of importance, air of being chosen by the gods of fertility that allows the cutter that choose who he or she favors, If I had continued when my grandmother died, I would have also raised other cutters. I had to stop it in my generation. It does not exist right now in our community.
Regina is not alone in this decision. Even men are leading the campaign.
But to be honest, it's not a good practice and it needs to be stopped.
We also sought to know the medical implications of female genital mutilation.
When he heals with scar tissue. Scar tissue is not elastic. So when the baby is coming, if it's too much, it will obstruct that baby coming out. And once it obstructs, 2 things can happen. Either the uterus ruptures or the woman will push the baby through with force and there will be a tear. If the uterus ruptures, the woman dies and the baby dies also.
Experts say that charting a new course to end female genital mutilation in Nigeria, Africa and the rest of the world might be likened to parting the biblical Red Sea. But come what may, girls and women who are at risk of this practice say They must find a way to get to the promised land where they can live without being afraid of their bodies being violated.
We're actually hoping that government will develop proper policies towards a total, not just, preventing it, but stopping it.
Awareness and collaborative efforts, advocates say, will shine a light on the most needed path to enable the reduction of this archaic practice. Bassey, NTA News.